What's up, guys? I'm Nate.
And I'm Mike.
And I recently just finished a Predator 212 build on my mini bike here. And Mike came over here last weekend and took it for a spin and decided that's something he wanted to do for himself. So we took to Marketplace trying to find ourselves a good frame for said project, and ended up coming across this bike for a pretty decent price with a Honda GX160 in it. And our original intent was to do the 212 swap, but I don't think we can resist trying to revive this 160 here. Not only to be a little easier on the wallet, but to just show you guys how easy of a project this can be without like much monetary investment. At the end of the video, I do want to list anything we might use for this project throughout the course of it, just to show you guys a total price scale of what it would be. So I want to give a total price rundown of everything we used and the amount of labor involved in doing a project like this. Alright, Mike, do you want to try to crank it over and show them what we're working with here?
Yep.
Well, that's surprising, because that has not done that yet. But right off the bat with this motor, to state the obvious, it is dirty. So I want to tear it off, get it off this frame, and give it a total rundown. The frame's a little bent up, the fender's a little mess. But besides that, we should be good to go. I feel like this probably just has a carburetor issue. Now the throttle cable is totally seized, and whenever I first went to turn this, I seen little pieces of plastic come flying out of here. So that's probably just old dry rotted plastic. So I'm going to go ahead and get this motor off and get it up on the bench and start wrenching on it. Mike, you want to get to it and start stripping this frame down?
Yep,
give her a good sand and get some paint on it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's get to it. Alright, first things first, while this is up in the air, on the frame, we're going to go ahead and drain the oil out by loosening the drain bolt here. That should be about a 10 millimeter. At least on these imported engines. But doing this while it's in the air, and then we're going to go ahead and get the motor off. But it looks like we have, your Home Depot special and carriage bolts. So Lord knows how many things I'm going to have to go through to get this off. I mean, it's not like it'll take a lot of time in the first place, but it's just annoying that it's not all one same bolt pattern. This doesn't feel like it's going to want to finger tight any bit of the way either. I haven't really checked the oil, I just kind of opened it up and verified there was oil in this. So I don't know what this is going to look like. I mean, from the shape that this bike's been kept in, I don't have high hopes. So I want to get this done first and foremost. Alright, there. Eek. That does not look good. I mean, you can't tell because of the black gloves, but it looks a little milky. I'm not super fond of that. Alright, we're going to go ahead and let that drain out. And come back at this whenever it's done. Start working on getting this motor off. And also with that oil's draining, we're going to go ahead and just take off the throttle cable. That way all we got to worry about is the bolts in the bottom. Is that free? No. There we go. That's freed up. And then again, this is just a 10 millimeter right back here. There we go. That's off. You can see the oil's just about done draining, so I'm going to go ahead and just throw this plug back in here for now before I lose it. I will try to be sure to refill this before we start it, because that would be no good. Throttle cable's off. Then I'm going to go ahead and just do a cut here of me getting this thing off the frame, and I'll see you guys when we get back. All right. Alright, we got the motor tore off here and on the block. And like I said before, I'm mostly hoping this is just a carburetor issue, which I highly imagine it is. They said this thing's been sitting for a year. I didn't change the fuel. So, most people would not prefer that. But me, I kind of always prefer to see a gummed up carb, because then I'm like, oh, there's my problem, you know. So we're going to go ahead and jam this thing off and take a look. And hope it's full of bugs and shit. There's one on top here. Ugh. Spiderweb. Oh wow. The fitment of that, what do I even think? I guarantee this carburetor's messed up. I didn't even realize. Like, see this big gap here? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. Look at this big, this is just smushed on there. This isn't even appropriate for this bike. And as you can see, the bottom here, you have all this hanging on. I can shove my finger up in here. This thing's just breathing in whatever. And by the looks of it, I just pulled a spider web out of here. This thing's got to be so gummed up with nonsense. Look at that. We're going to have to buy a totally another one. But that's no big problem. It's fairly cheap. Oh yeah, bolt on top. Put that in extendo mode. This, whatever gasket or whatever used to be here, it is just falling apart and gone. Oh wow. Look at that. That's all chewed up. And it's right in here. Can you see that? You're telling me that stuff isn't down in there? I mean, it's all black and gross. This is 100% needed done. So we'll go ahead and get this off here. Get a pair of pliers for the fuel clamp. Alright. Go ahead and suggest this thing to get on off of there. Come on. Ow, fucking dickhead. There we go. Didn't think about the fuel. Just pop off. Nice. Easy. Alright, carburetor's off. I'm gonna pause this and find myself a pair of vice grips to cut off this fuel real quick. Alright, vice grips required. Let's go ahead and move this motor out of the way. Got fuel everywhere, I wasn't even thinking. It's cool, it's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and throw down a freshie. That fuel needed to leave there anyways, but I kind of didn't plan on dumping it all over my counter. Yeah, let's take a look at that. It's all gross. I know you probably can't see. So let's get the bottom of this off. Put that out of the way. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That's exact. Well, I didn't expect it to be that bad. Look. Hold on. Let me grab this wrench. Look at this. Oh. Yeah. Pretty sure we had a fuel issue problem. Holy heck. Alright, well. This is going to take a bit more cleaning than I thought. I mean, I know I said I'm the type of guy that likes a dirty carburetor because it tells me that was my problem. But this is just ridiculous. I've never seen one so bad. I mean, that had to be, with this not fitting on there appropriately, had to be just sucking in anything and everything. And then plus, it's kind of rusty. Alright, what about the other side? That's not stuck. Pin's about to fall out. Oh my god, look at the jet! It can't even breathe. Oh, if I can get a right angle of that. Hold on, I got a flashlight. You see that jet? It's just totally clogged. Like, I don't know how this thing fired up earlier. What was it breathing on? Fumes? Alright, well, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing cleaned up and come back. Look at that. Jeez. Oh my goodness. Alright. Look at that. Look. Ugh. Gross. Alright. Look at that. Just murky, gross. I just bought a new set of wire brushes and I can find the plastic one and the brass one. Not really exactly what I'm looking for, but we'll try our best. Need something a little more stout for this crud. Not exactly perfect, but better than it was, and it's a Honda, so that should be plenty enough for it. Alright, let's get to this. Alright, let's get that jet out. Try to get in there a little more. We're going to hit every little hole we possibly can. May as well hit the outside of this thing. Empty. Need another one. Oh. My gloves are going crazy. Woo! Alright, we're going to go ahead and take these off. They're expanding. That's so tough to turn this. This is a bunch of black shit down there. See if I can try to get it. Alright, I'm back. It is the next night here. My camera batteries died last night, and apparently I ran out of double A's in my house. So I had to go out and get some today. And it's actually like... Jeez Louise. But it's actually like 10 o'clock at night here, but I just want to jam out getting this done the rest of the way tonight, so we can move forward to putting this back together. There we go. Holy crap. Look at that jet. Yeah, upgrades I have tonight. I was able to I grabbed a pick from work. I was missing mine here at home. And then also for my camera, for my tripod. There's the piece that mounts to the bottom of the camera and that locks into the tripod. I lost mine, so all yesterday it was just the camera's bungee corded to the top of the tripod, which was super inconvenient. I don't even know if this is worth cleaning, bro. I have another one laying around, but I'm kind of saving it for our next project because I need to put a bigger jet in that. Even this, I know you can't see, but this is just clogged thoroughly. Let's see if we can blow anything through this. Surprisingly, actually. We'll go ahead and hit that with the brass. Oh, maybe just the regular. Scared one time, whenever I first started doing this, I ran all the jets and stuff through a 6-inch bench grinder wire wheel, and I didn't think about the fact that it completely was going to tear them apart, and it ruined the whole project, and I had to buy a whole nother carburetor. So I learned from my mistakes. I think regardless, this thing's going to run. I mean, if this thing tried to fire up before, there's no way it's not going to now. I mean, I can see right there that hole's totally clogged. There's no way this pick is even going to get in there. At least we got this jet out though. I was just going to leave it and call that, but since my camera died yesterday, I had the opportunity to get a pick. Alright, that seems to be spraying off pretty good. Go ahead and put that over here. Let's try to clean up this jet right here. See if anything blows through this. Surprisingly. That probably needed that terribly. We'll go ahead and hit that with brass brush too. Yeah, these were all just, I mean, you've seen what that looked like coming out. Everything's so corroded and clogged. I mean, it does live up to the Honda name of the thing. The fact that this thing was even able to fire on what? This fuel's been in here at least a year minimum, from what I'm told. Could be longer. And then with this carburetor looking like this, it's pretty bananas. I'm really gonna look what that does to your gloves. That's wild. They just feel them expanding. Feel them turning to rubber. They're melting in my hand. Alright. It's probably as clean as that's going to get. Or as clean as it really needs to be. I think this thing should be just fine. Go ahead and pop that jet back in. We'll get this seated. That is a real small diameter hole though. I have a new baggie new ones. Because they have this aftermarket exhaust. Well, aftermarket. It looks like they welded this together out of some pipes they had laying around. Exhaust, and you're going to have more airflow going through there, so you want more fuel. Then they had this for more airflow, but I've already recommended to Mike today that for this bike he needs to buy at least the stock air filter housing that came with it. You may as well replace it all. Like, you're missing the top half of this, and this is just nasty. So we're gonna see if he commits to that. If not, I'll throw this back together the way it is. It is this bike. Snug that on. Get our float back in. Here we go. Seems good. And while I have this pick, I'm going to clean up this bowl a little more because I couldn't get much around this screw here. Got one more wipe out for good measure. Let's get this back together. And then really there's not much more I want to do to this. I am thinking about, because I told him to replace this anyways, so I'm going to put this back on for now so we can test fire this to see if it works. But I do want to take off the gas tank, take off the starter and the shroud and try to clean this up, because this just got quite a thick layer on it, and I don't think me being who I am can personally just leave that like that. At least try to clean this thing up the best we can for presentation wise. Alright, let's get this back together. mean, for the sake of it, I hate to even put this back on, but I mean, return it the way I found it, I guess, right? Or if we can try to favor it towards that side or something. Just not breathing in so much until Mike gets a new air filter for this. I'd imagine probably by the end of this video, you'll see a whole new air filter housing on here. And genuinely, I don't like this exhaust either. I recommend him to buy a new exhaust for this too, because these parts are cheap. They're like, you know, anywhere between $15 and $20 on Amazon. And then you can buy a whole new jet kit for this and everything, and it'll be running great. I mean, it doesn't hurt to not. But, alright, that's pretty much it. We disassembled the carburetor. Definitely found a lot of big problems in it. I have pretty much no doubt in my mind that this thing's going to fire right up. I mean, we could do a quick test for spark, but it did fire up before. So maybe I'll do a quick test of spark just to make sure it's weak or not. And I'm somebody that, like, I see a lot of people just throw the same spark plug back in, but they're $4. It doesn't hurt to just buy a new spark plug and put it in. Check your gap size, because who knows if that's even the appropriate one for this. So it might not be firing as adequately as it could for performance reasons. So probably gonna go ahead and do that. Refill it with oil and try to turn it over and see what happens. All right, see you guys then. All right, I got the motor lead back a little bit just to make it more easier for my convenience to fill this oil. I am gonna tighten up the strain plug. I just left it finger tight earlier. This thing, well, actually it will now. It wasn't finger tightening too kindly on the way out. Snug that up. That was completely loose. Alright. Something like that. No, just dark. Alright, let's get some oil on it. This motor calls for 6.1 quarts. So, I mean 0.61 quarts. So we're just going to fill it up a little more than half a quart. Come on. It just wants to thread and crook it. Is that why this was so loose? Please? It's still doing that. I don't really see much of a problem on here. Is this even the right one for this? Watch it not be. I think that would track. No, that's just threading crooked. What the heck? I mean, there's a slight burr right here at the beginning of the thread, but nothing crazy. You think these would be pretty much just universal, right? There it goes. Must have been that burr goofing it up. Oh, there is no dipstick. Interesting. Well, I think we're just going to go off of faith then. I guess we'll go ahead and just try it out and try to turn this thing over and see what happens. Alright, just a quick little update. I kept saying that I'm only going to work for a little bit tonight. If I get the carburetor back on, then I figured I'd fill it with oil, and then I couldn't resist, but try to start it up, and I mean, you can see what I'm working with here. Pretty much is only running when it's like super choked, so I don't think it's getting enough fuel for how much air is coming in. So I did just buy a whole bunch of different sized jets, so probably gonna end up having to tear the carburetor back apart and do a jet swap anyways, and hopefully Mike ordered a new air filter for this. Yeah, as soon as you open up the air, it just cuts off, so that just means it's just not getting enough fuel. So, probably tomorrow, just tear the carburetor apart again, try to find a little bit of a bigger jet to put in there, let it get a little more fuel, let her eat. Alright, I'm back and it's a brand new day. It should be the last time. Really need a wrench on this motor. We're just going to go ahead and take the carbs off and readjust the valves. I assumed whoever put this aftermarket air intake on here and this aftermarket exhaust on here would have rejetted the carburetor, but and assume it's not. I don't even know how they had this thing running prior, or even if they did. I don't see how they would put these on and not realize their fault. So I have no really doubts that this is going to work. Just being the fact that if it's full choked, it works. If it's not, it cuts out. I think it's just starving for a little bit of fuel. So we're going to go ahead and slam this off. I'm pretty sure this has a 28 jet in it, and from what I've read online, that people seem to say once you go to like a stage 1 kit, the 36 works really nice in this engine. So we're going to go ahead and tear this off and redo the jet. I have pretty high hopes that this is just going to work out. Alright, we're down to taking out the jet. I have a new emulsion tube for this. I was really kind of hoping to save that on our next project, so I'm going to hope just changing the jet here works. Because I mean, you've seen how grody that emulsion tube that was in this was. Let me compare these. Now this should be a 28. And then I just pulled out a 36 out of my kit. Oh yeah, that's a huge difference. I highly imagine you wouldn't see through the camera. But it's that little hole deep in there. This is tiny compared to this. So we're going to go ahead and slam this in. Get the carburetor back together and try to pull it over. Oh, dang! I forgot to put the choke lever back on. At least we didn't get that far. Glad I just seen that. Usually you have to kind of finagle it to go in there. Not much, but enough where it gets in the way. And then I just realized, I'm like, oh, that slid right in. And then I looked down and I was like, oh, wait. We didn't even do that. It would have been a lot better if I had this all back together and ready to go. Yeah, it's better. Well, obviously, you'll find when you do this yourself, it's better to keep these straight out. That way, whenever you guide this on, it goes straight in. Alright, now let's put this back together. I've been trying to put this back on where it doesn't have as much of a gap here. I'm trying to like favor it this way until Mike buys a new air intake for that. That will continuously be a problem. Because the problem was that before, whenever you've seen I had the big gap here, what's going to happen is path of least resistance, right? So this filter was totally useless because all the air was just getting sucked through here. You know, why would it go through here whenever it has a clear open passage? So, as you can see how muddy this thing is and whatnot, everything that this thing's ever kicked up and whatnot just gets sucked straight into here. And that's probably what the problem with this carburetor is. Now, I think we're ready to give this thing a pull and see if she runs. Alright, kill switch is off. We are choked. Peel's on. And let's pray this good. That's going to take some pulls. You got to refill that carburetor. I know, it's idling perfect. Alright, that's weird. Try to give her a little gas and she cut off on me. Though, I mean, it is a cold engine, and it is cold in the climate that I'm in. When I was down here last night, it was like 30 degrees out. So I wasn't trying to be down here terribly long, but I wanted to get at this. And today, it's probably about like 40 something. So, I mean, it is a cold engine. we'll go ahead and give it a pull again and let it run a little bit longer. Sorry for that taking a little long. I was just wanting to watch it run a little bit. I do think I want to turn up the idle screw a little bit. Just a bit, because it is chugging pretty hard at the very bottom end there. And that's just right here on the back side. If you don't know, Google it. It should be pretty hard to find. I mean, shouldn't be pretty hard to find. Especially because, I mean, this is a Honda, and you got the Predator 212 I have sitting on the floor here. That's a Honda clone. So all these are pretty much the same motor. But the problem is, with the Predator 212 being a Honda clone and just being a Harbor Freight motor, any information or parts you want to find, it's all Predator 212. It was harder for me to find information on an actual Honda than it is the 212, just because of the popularity of the 212. So I do think one of the next few videos I want to do is a 212 build for you guys, just so you can see how simple that thing is. I mean, they're $150 from Harbor Freight. Sorry, hold on. They're $150 from Harbor Freight. They go on sale all the way down to $100 sometimes, and then all you got to do is buy yourself a mini bike frame and strap it on there, throw a chain in the clutch, and you're good to go. So I definitely want to do a video guys showing that. So we're going to pull this over again, see if I like that a little bit more. Now I got the appropriate screwdriver. I can adjust it while it's running. See if it'll pull not choked. Probably not. No. Well, it's not perfect. By no means. Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm sorry, buddy. We got a little Spidey there we're bothering. Scaring him out of his home. I wonder if he was who was living in the air intake here. Huh. Sorry, little guy. But alright, with a little fine tuning with this. Oh, there he is. Right there. What's up, brother? Knuckles? It's cool. Let's go ahead and get you outside. I feel bad disturbing you. Oh, you ran away. I'm sorry, brother. Alright, yeah, with a little fine tuning from this, I don't see this being any bit of a problem. So, I think we're ready to go ahead and put this back on the frame. Also, for the record, I was just thinking it because it was spilling gas out here, so I was making sure there's nothing on the gasket, which there is a bunch of crud. But this is, from what they told me, this has been sitting for a year, so this is at least a year old fuel in here too. And if it's running off of that, I imagine just some fresh fuel in it, this thing should be running great. If not, maybe adjust the throttle a little bit. That's why if you see me cranking on here, I was just maxing out the throttle all the way, because this is just a 160 and it's going to have a grown man on it, so may as well get as much as you can. But anyhow, as I said, good to put on the frame.
Now that Nate got the motor running, I think now it's time to strip it down to its frame. 3, 2, 1. Alright, I guess it's time to sand. Went with this almond color. I think it'd look nice if it looked like a vintage Honda kind of look. So we're gonna spray it up, see how it looks.
Mike's bike's all wrapped up. We got the motor back on, chain on, new throttle and grips installed. Still need better tires. Didn't really shine up the motor that much, but I think it looks great. I like the look of it. It's like a bone white. But let's stop talking about it and take this thing outside and see what it does.
Today's the day. We're in beautiful West Virginia at Nate's parents' land they have out here. Perfect place to set this up and try it out. So I say let's give it a pull. Got motion.
It doesn't seem like it's getting all the throttle it should. Let's take a look at that real quick.
So, the West Virginia trip was a success, but unfortunately, not for this little guy.
We messed with it a little bit, but as you can see where we left off, it's just running way too rich right now. And I think I overjetted the carb, which this is on me. But I did get that information from an online forum, and everybody said that size. So they're wrong, not me. I went ahead and took their advice, and clearly it's wrong. So I went ahead last night, once we got home, and downsized the jet size. Not to the original, a little bit over, just because that custom air intake that it has on there. And from my testing, and by testing, it was like 10 o'clock at night and it was dark out and I couldn't see. So I just did the old lift up the back wheel and hold on to the throttle. And it seemed to be running a lot better, a lot less smog coming out of the exhaust. So pretty sure it's time to just give this thing a ride and hopefully it holds up to standard.
Please.
Alright guys.
So, I think we figured it out. That ride's real nice. Didn't feel like I had any problems. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm gonna take it home.
And like I told you guys before, I wanted to give a price disclosure on how easy it is to do something like this. All in all, with this motor and the frame, and you've seen it was ratty, but it takes a little bit of effort. But for the motor and the frame, we paid $150 for it off of Facebook Marketplace. I can't remember what the guy, he was selling 2 bikes and he wanted like, I think it was like 600 for both of them. And I hit him with 150 for the more rattier looking one. And he said, come get it. So here we are. All in all, we bought, so the bike for $150, the throttle grips for $15, quarter oil is $5, and what, 2 cans of spray paint. So I think we're about like $190 into this project, and that's really not bad at all for something like this compared to anywhere from the Colemans that you buy straight from the store that go for anywhere from like $700 to $900. You can do this for under $200, and this thing's sweet, man. I really like the way it looks, the bone white look. I mean, it's pretty much new, you know. And the easiest thing is too, all right, what, the frame's not going to go bad unless you wreck the thing. So what, you have to replace the power plant eventually? If you got to replace that or he wants an upgrade, you buy a Predator for $100. They're on sale all the time at Harbor Freight. But I think that's a wrap for this project, guys. And we got about 5 more lined up currently for you. So we'll see you guys in the next one.